Right. Hi, everyone. My name is Bianca. I'm the Digital Learning Design Manager for the Central European team at Tesco. And I would like to talk to you a little bit in general about digital learning. What is it? And then Katka later on will transition you into how do we do this at Tesco exactly. So well, learning and development and technology has always been depending on each other. What's more, education was depending more on technology. Since ever we developed the first printer presses in the 15th century. Since then, obviously, many new technological tools have came on board and introduced. And today we actually have the awesome ability to use virtual reality, 3D printers. We can meet and develop people online. We can even attend an online job fair, what you guys are doing right now. And not just the technology, but the methods and the learning needs have been changing constantly too. Now I would like to show you a little timeline about the past couple of years transformation in the learning methods and the digital learning in general. So I have to go back all the way to 2010 because that was a very important year in digital learning and education in general. This was the time when we redefined the learning spaces. The traditional classroom environment have changed, and from having one presenter presenting to an audience, students being in the classroom, we kind of transitioned into a workshop-based environment. And this was the same year when at corporate larger companies, managers started to become mentors. Then the next year, what happened was mobile phones, smartphones became very popular. I still remember when I got my first smartphone. That was about that time. And this meant that employees and learning training providers, they started to design their learning optimized on mobile too. And immersive learning became more and more popular for the simple reason that they realized that touch, sound, and movement gives an extra great experience to learners, and that became more and more important in the industry. Then the next year, gamification. I don't know how much you guys have heard about gamification, what does it mean? But again, that is linked to the learner's experience. The training providers realized that with games and game-based learning products, they can enhance the learner experience. Same time, social badging came on board. What do we mean by social badging? For example, there are many online platforms such as Udemy or LinkedIn Learning where you can complete an online training course and then you get a certificate for this. And then you can display this certificate on your online professional platforms, which is fantastic. Nowadays, if you look at someone's LinkedIn profile, you can see what kind of qualifications they have. And then onboarding, e-learning started to become a huge part in the onboarding processes in the bigger companies. Looking at my own experience, now that I joined Tesco 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago, my whole induction was completely online, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was really easy to follow, and it wasn't too time-consuming either. Then learning communities started to form, obviously, as we saw an increase in the different online services, learning platforms. These communities started to form, and learners started to support each other on all sorts of forums. For example, if someone was going to a university and started to do online learning on university, the students started to, they had the ability to talk to each other and support each other, and they weren't just relying on their tutor anymore. And this was the same year when tablet learning was a big hit. in 2013, it's a fun fact, 240 millions of tablets were sold, which is important because everyone who was dealing with digital learning, any sort of online education, they had to make sure that their courses, their knowledge base is optimized on tablet as well. And then, as you know, from the culture and society has changed as well, everyone became more and more busy. Everyone wanted to spend less and less time sitting in front of the computer physically and doing 2-3 hours of online learning content. It was important that we can learn on the go, and we have smaller bite-sized learning courses available. Then we get the augmented reality in 2015. Augmented reality is really used nowadays in industries such as engineering or I'm sure you all have heard about Pokemon Go, which was another kind of platform, the gaming platform where they managed to use augmented reality. And then cloud computing was very important for the learning management systems, because so far, up until 2015, most learning management systems, they collated their data on hardware, and cloud computing became more and more popular and more secure, most importantly. So they had the ability to store all of this data online in the cloud. And then learning libraries started to form, bigger and bigger resource hubs, which was available for all of these learning communities, and the culture of coaching in general became a trend. Then in 2018, just a couple of years ago, bite-sized learning and bite-sized resources, meaning any sort of videos, text, anything that was available to support learning, was very popular and important, again, just for the time frame, because people are busy, they want to have small, more focused objectives whilst they are learning. And virtual reality came on board this time. I really hope sometime soon in the future we will be able to use virtual reality as well, and now we could all sit together in the same room. Okay. And then just last year, studies showed that the training as an employee benefit is a reality. So people who are looking for jobs, they are more likely to join a company where some sort of training is provided in-house, and they can further their professional development. And this kind of created the continuous learning culture as well. And the micro-learning, which is very similar to the bite-sized learning that I mentioned before. Micro-learning is when we focus on really just one small part of a larger objective, and we can complete these bite-sized things quick and easy. Now, what do we mean by digital learning in general? Anything is digital learning that is supported by some sort of technology. Now, a couple of examples for this. So the most common one is the online learning modules, or some people call it e-learning modules. Nowadays we call it online learning modules. These can be wide, big courses, sometimes they can take a couple of hours, or they can be small bite-sized micro-learning modules. Then we got the virtual classroom trainings and webinars. Now, what's the difference between virtual classroom and webinars? And this is what we do here is a webinar, for example, that you guys are muted. There aren't many interaction. There's a presenter who gives some sort of speech, trying to spread some sort of knowledge. Whilst on a virtual classroom training, we kind of digitalize a classic offline workshop where we have different interactions, supporting and helping to embed the learning. And we got ebooks available. These are very easy to use, and they are more engaging than just having a standard textbook. And Katka will tell you a bit about our own ebook, what we have in Tesco. Then multimedia is also some form of digital learning. Any multimedia form, such as videos, graphics, illustrations, images, audio in a form of podcast, anything that is created with a learning purpose can be digital learning. Then obviously the virtual reality and analytics. Now, analytics is very important learning because it makes the provider's job much easier to find the learning needs and the gaps. Then obviously we have the tests and quizzes. This makes being able to create assessments online makes our life much easier than having to fill in thousands of pages of tests. Then let's have a look at some of the benefits of digital learning. Some people, when they hear the word digital learning and online training, they get a bit fuzzy about it. So I want to tell you why is it good. So first of all, we can reach a much bigger audience. Many years ago, when we mainly did offline training and people were learning offline, it wasn't possible to hold a virtual classroom training to 100 people, or to hold a webinar for 300 people or thousands of people. Nowadays we can do this, so we can reach many more people, so we can spread knowledge and we can develop people much better and easier. Then it's a 24 hours resource, which is fantastic. Personally, I'm not a morning person. My brain just cannot focus in the morning. So if I was going to have to attend on a training course or any sort of development course early in the morning, I wouldn't be able to focus. So it's much more personalized because you have in an LMS system or in some sort of resource hub, you have your learning options. You can access to it anytime from anywhere, really. Then what I mentioned a little bit earlier, the learning communities. It's fantastic. It's great for networking. You can meet new people, and most importantly, you can always see different points of view, which is not just growing you, but each other as well. Then you are responsible for your own development. As I said, you can access to these learnings anytime from anywhere. So training is not happening to you. You are doing the training for yourself. You get that will be obviously some sort of support, and you can always ask questions, such as in the learning communities as well, and from tutors or the trainers if you work for a company. But you are mainly responsible for your own development. You learn at your own pace. And digital learning also caters for more learning styles and personalities. For example, if we take someone who is quite an introvert person, whose personality is not that outgoing and they don't really enjoy speaking in public or attending a classic training course, probably they wouldn't be very happy attending on a workshop offline. But if we do this online, they don't need to show their faces, so they can feel more comfortable, they can be more focused. Also, if someone learns visually more, using all the multimedia and all the resources what I've mentioned earlier, can help them to embed the learning much better. And one of the biggest perks of digital learning is that we are reducing our carbon footprint, because we don't need to spend time and resources on traveling. And it's a green way to learn and to develop people. And now I'm going to hand it over to Katka, who's going to talk to you about what kind of digital learning we do at Tesco. Exactly.
Thank you, Bianca. So I'm going to share the second part of the presentation. Hope you are able to see the screen. So hello everyone again. Bianca was talking generally about the digital learning. So what it means, what you can imagine behind, what are the benefits. So in the second part, I will more focus on practically what we do, what kind of learning opportunities, online learning opportunities our colleagues have. But before we will jump to the examples of the online learning opportunities, I would like to tell you something about how learning at Tesco has changed during the couple of previous last years. So in past, how it looked like, and by past, I mean few years ago. So it's like 6, 7, 8 years ago. So when we were thinking about the learning, it was mostly about the face-to-face trainings. So the classroom trainings, which usually took the whole day. So there was a trainer, people were sitting in a room and they were learning something new. Learning was associated purely with this classroom training. So when you said, when you told to someone learning, they usually imagined this classroom training without any other options. The learning itself was mainly driven by the HR team. So the people were waiting for their direction, for the instructions, what they should do for the learning offer, and they were not that much active in searching for the learning opportunities on their own. And what was also very common was that we provided almost the same learning offer for everyone. So there were a couple of groups of people who were, for example, part of some kind of development program. So they were preparing for a bigger role. And all of these people, they had the same learning offer. So they didn't have to, choose what they will focus on, but it was just like prepared and written for them. But as all of you know, the times are changing. So world is changing. We are going more digital. The new technologies are coming. Everything is much faster. People don't have time to really spend the whole day by learning something new. They don't keep the attention, which is something you probably also know from your experience, that it's very difficult for you to really focus on something for more hours, because you are distracted by many things around you, like social media, new information, of course, work around you, like people around you. So everything is much faster than it was few years ago. So what has changed at Tesco based on all of these things, like what I just mentioned? Currently, our learning offer, it's a mixture of the different channels, different learning opportunities. So we moved a lot of learning, we moved online. And I will give you in a couple of minutes examples how we are doing it. Currently, the trainings are not perceived as the only option for the learning. We have a couple of other options. We try to follow the 70-20-10 model, which some of you probably heard about, and it actually gives us the understanding of like from where we get the most of the knowledge. And this model is telling us that 70% of our knowledge is done in reality, like on by practicing, by experiencing, by on-the-job training, by really doing the things. 20% is coming from learning from others. Which means that you learn from your manager, from your colleagues around you. You can have a mentor, you can have a coach. If you are still studying, you can be inspired by your schoolmates, friends, family, or even the teachers who can inspire not only by what they teach, but also generally by their personality and experience. If we do the trainings are usually shorter than the whole day because of this kind of attention, and we really want to focus more on like really being there mentally also for the whole time. So what we did is that we split many of the trainings into the more days, but the shorter times. Colleagues own their learning, which is something what Bianca also mentioned in her part, that currently it's really important if people feels responsible for their learning, for their development, they actively search for the activities, and they are not just waiting for direction from company or from their manager or from HR team, but they are really just actively searching the options. And learning is individual and tailored made. What it means? It means that each of us is unique. we have completely different strengths, development gaps, and development needs. So if, for example, me, I would love to improve communication skills, it's something what probably you are strong enough at, and you need to focus on something completely else because you want to move somewhere else, or your career aspirations are completely different. So in the learning offer, we really need to be individually preparing the offer for people based on what they really need. So this is a bit of the background, what has changed in last couple of years. And now let's say something about what kind of online learning options we have at Tesco. We structured it into the four, let's say, main channels or four main parts, how we can learn online. The first one is the e-learnings. So Bianca said a lot about the e-learnings. It's something what is currently typical for many of the bigger companies. So they moved a lot of learning online into the e-learnings because it's quick, it's accessible anywhere. All of the people can join. At Tesco, we split the e-learnings into two different parts, let's say. The first one are the mandatory ones. So all our colleagues have to attend because of it's legally required or because they are newcomers, and they have to like learn about what we are as a company, what kind of culture we have. The second option here are the optional e-learnings. So and these are purely like developmental oriented e-learnings, so people can learn something new online. May I ask someone to go on mute? Because not all of you are mute, and I can hear that someone is phoning. So second option are the online learning events. We can imagine it as the different webinars, the different trainings. So Bianca also explained what is the webinar. So currently we are doing the webinar here. We also organize the learning festivals, which you can imagine as the longer term activity, let's say 2 weeks full of the different webinars. We invite the internal and external speakers. We focus on the different topics like well-being, health, your personal development, getting some inspirational stories from inside and outside of the company. It's something voluntary, so it's up to people if they want to join. It's just for themselves, so we don't force them. It's a part of just day-to-day jobs that they can jump into the webinar for 1 hour to listen, learn something new, and then they come back to their day-to-day job. There are a couple of benefits. Bianca also was mentioning more of them, most of them. So it's accessible for everyone. You can reach a much bigger audience than with the classroom training. So I remember one webinar when we had like more than 400 participants online because they were just so interested in the topic that so many of them joined. You can record it. So this is something what we are doing currently as well, that we will then provide it to others who hadn't had a chance to join today. So channel, and for us it's really a key one. It's the learning management system, which is a platform for all our colleagues for the different purposes. So it combines like the multiple functionalities there. So first of all, our colleagues, they can do the e-learnings there. They can apply for the trainings. They can apply for the webinars. We can do the different diagnostic and self-assessment and assessment, like the technical skills assessment. You can check like where you are with your professional skills. We can assess your potential and the different other diagnostic tools. You can find a mentor through this platform because our mentoring program, let's say, it's really strong at Tesco. You can become a mentor, so you can online fill in your profile. You can tell us like what you are strong at and what you want to teach others. We also use it for the performance management, so for setting our colleagues' business objectives and for doing their review once a year. We also use it for providing an feedback, online one and anonymous from other colleagues. So if you want to know like what's the feedback of others for you, you can use the online tool. And the last thing what I listed here are the development plans, which means that if you want to focus on your development and you want to have it summarized somewhere, you can use this learning management system for doing this. And the fourth one are the online learning toolkits, so ebooks. So Bianca mentioned that I will tell you something about that. So this is let's say innovations from a couple of previous months. We started to use the platform which is called Page Tiger, and you can imagine it as a platform. It looks like an ebook really. So you can just scroll down if you are on a mobile, or to the right if you are on your laptop, and it provides all the content we need to give to some group of the colleagues. So for example, we use it for our managers. We try to summarize all the content which helps them to be the better leader, focus on their development, providing a summary of some development tips. We also call it library of development, so they can really filter what do you want to focus on and choose the activity which is the most relevant for them. We also use it for our graduates, which is something you might be interested in if you still study and you want to join a graduate program. So we also use it for this group of people, or for our store managers who are running the store. So this is the online learning toolkits. So this was the overview of the main online learning options we have at Tesco. That's basically all from us. So thanks a lot for your attention. I will stop sharing the screen and we can check if there are any questions in the chat.
Nothing so far, Petra.
Okay. Good. So thanks a lot to all of you for joining, for listening. Hope that we inspired you a bit, and maybe that it will inspire you to check more about Tesco and what kind of job opportunities we have for you. So thank you. Have a nice day.
Thanks,
and
everyone.
Enjoy the rest of the job fair. Bye bye.
Bye. Take care, guys.
Thank you. Bye bye.